super sports utility vehicle, as I call it. Hi guys and welcome to another Forza Horizon 3 video. This time around we are building a really special car. We're gonna build the world's first Bugatti SUV. Obviously you can't do that in the normal Forza Horizon 3. That's why we are in a really rather special version where we can mess with stuff. Like we can mess with everything. What do we want to do with our off-road Veyron? Now I found a little something.
Of a speed zone. We can't track your average, boss. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I found this little rock. Like, it's a really small rock if you look at it. But if we drive our Veyron against it, our stock Veyron, there is no chance we're gonna drive over it. Like, no chance. Even if you lift the suspension up all the way, it can't drive over it. So I had a little tweak with the suspension and we can turn things up again. We're gonna have a look at the settings. Nope, not settings. Tuning settings. There we go, tune car. So we can pretty much change everything. We're gonna change the tire pressure a little bit because usually off-road cars have like a lower tire pressure, so we're gonna change that down a little bit. Doesn't really affect the car too much as from what I've seen in the game files, but we're gonna do it anyway. I removed the limits, so you can pretty much do anything. And it's kind of confusing. I'm always looking at the screen of the camera, not into the camera. Anyway, I think with the stock Veyron you can go from like 3 centimeters to, or 4 centimeters to, I think 14 with the off-road suspension. Well, we can go a little higher. We can go a little higher, but here's the problem. I thought we were gonna lift up the car like 1 meter, but the game doesn't really want us to do that. So this is probably what you guys want to see the most. Unfortunately, if you do that, something's gonna happen. It's not gonna be good. So we're gonna apply the setup and you're gonna immediately see it. Yeah, it's kind of not what we want, really. It's kind of... I mean, we are technically one meter in the air, and we can still drive. But I wouldn't call that an off-road car. I would call that some sort of hover car, and the camera angle's also really messed up. I mean, it's true, we can pretty much drive over anything now, because our, well, ride height is kind of ridiculous. But, you know, we want to build an actual off-road car, not some sort of glitchy madness. So we're gonna lower the suspension down a little bit, but before we do that, actually, let's take a quick look what it looks like if we drive into the water. Yeah, it's a bit, like the game is a little confused and we can, oh my god. And we can drive over stuff, but it's not really working. Like it's just glitching the hell out of the game and we don't really want that. We want to build a proper Bugatti SUV and that's what we're gonna do. If we go any higher, the tires will get stuck in the chassis and we don't really want that because it makes the car undrivable. So we're gonna do that real quick and as you can see, that's some proper suspension travel. Like this is close to an SUV. I think there are SUVs out there that have less suspension travel and less ride height. So it's pretty decent. We can go a little higher later on. As you can see, the suspension is still stock, which means obviously it's a Bugatti. It's really, really stiff. I'm gonna quickly load up another tuning setup and then we're gonna see what's really possible. Now I've loaded up another game file and this time around things got extreme. I'm not gonna lie. It took me quite some time to figure out all the stuff, but it worked eventually without crashing. As you can see, the rims are still, the rims on the front at least, are still the same size as before. I was just pointing at my monitor trying to show you, but you know, that's not how it works. So this is the biggest amount of tires we can put in our Veyron that still fit in the car. We can put them all the way up to, I think, 40 inches, but that just ruins the entire car because the tire is like everywhere. Also change the rim size because, you know, your proper off-road cars usually have smaller rims because they want bigger tires. So we changed the rims from 21 inch to, I think, 14 or 13 inch. Oh yeah, like, look at that. The Forza Horizon tires. Yeah. Not supposed to look like that. And yeah, as you can see, the front tires are still really rather skinny. We can make them like 450s, we can make them 550s, we can make them 50s. I doubt they are good for off-roading, but you know, why not? I mean, it doesn't really make a difference, right? We've got 1,200 kilos or 1,300 and under 1,000. which is kind of mad. We're gonna stick with the rather normal one for now, I think. But yeah, you can jump over tunes in a Veyron without really like damaging the chassis. Kind of. A little bit. What happens if you make it really soft, actually? I changed all the limits. There are no limits, pretty much. Bump stiffness, of course, all the way down. I could change the aero as well, but I don't think like a spoiler on an off-road car. Nah, not really. Okay, let's apply that. Is it gonna be a jelly Veyron? Oh, see, this is the issue. If you go too mental, the tires get stuck in the chassis, which is not ideal. I mean, we can still drive, don't get me wrong, and it's funny to drive, but yeah, it's not. Jesus, jeez. See, that's a jelly car right there. Forget the other jelly builds. This is a jelly build. Like, that's mental. I mean, it doesn't look like an off-road car anymore because it's pretty low, but I mean, could get dangerous. Could get dangerous. I've heard carbon fiber is pretty sharp. Oh my god. What is this madness? What happens if we jump, actually? Let's see, let's find out. Oh. I mean, it's pretty soft, like, pretty good for off-roading, but, you know, it's not good for off-roading if you don't have any suspension travel left. So your tires just hit the chassis. Not ideal when off-roading, but it's really nice, actually. It's kind of satisfying to watch. Somehow. Just for the funsies, I made the suspension as stiff as possible. Not as spectacular, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, there's not really much in terms of like moving anymore. It's not like super perfectly stiff, but it's like pretty hard.
That's what she said.
So now I equipped the perfect setup for our off-road Veyron, the S SUV. We've got just a bit over 2,000 horsepower, 2,300 Newton meters of torque, and we are weighing just under 1,000 kilos. It's kind of mad if you think about it. I mean, we can drive through water without damaging the car, which is pretty cool. So now we're driving towards our rocks and... Alright, that's pretty decent. That's pretty decent for our Veyron. I mean, it's now... Like, I'm just tapping the throttle and it's just driving over everything. Oh, that's a bit of a big one. Oh, can we... Yeah, that's a bit too big. That's a bit ambitious. We're gonna quickly jump into a... Where are the races? There we go. Where is an off-road race? Hopefully we're gonna see some actual normal Veyrons drive against our super SUV Veyron. Or super sports utility vehicle, as I call it. We're gonna see if we can do something here. Here we go. I don't think the AI can actually change the stuff we can change, so this should be kind of interesting now. I think they're gonna struggle when off-roading. Okay, starting grid. They are all in X-Class, which is kind of concerning. There are some old Bugattis, some new Bugattis, but we're the only off-road Bugatti in an off-road race, so this should be good. Hopefully we're gonna pick up a win, but the competition could be quite hard. Jesus, we just jumped over another Bugatti! Off-road Bugatti for the win! That was crazy! Okay, and take a little shortcut, you know, it's an off-road race, we can do that. Bit of a handful to drive, but we are so much faster. I mean, we've got 2,000 horsepower, so we don't really need to worry about that childish 1,200 horsepower Veyron there. Those are rookie numbers. Okay, okay, maybe our build is not perfect. It's a bit bouncy, but you know, here we go, here we go. Now we can unleash the power. I should have really upgraded the brakes a little. Oh my god, the handling. Come on, Veyron. Oh, the speed! The speed! The speed! And barely held up by the water and finished in first place. That's one hell of a car. It barely fits into the picture. That's crazy. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun. And before we end the video, real quick, Elgato Gaming was nice enough to send me one of their hats, which is pretty nice of them. That's pretty cool, proper Elgato hat. And they also sent me the cam link. What that little thing does is pretty cool. It converts any camera, even 4K camcorders, which I'm using right here, into webcams you can use while streaming. So that's pretty helpful, actually. They were kind enough to send me this. You can check it out in the description of this video. as well as my game capture card that I use for recording my gameplay. Drop a like if you like this video, subscribe if you want to see more crazy stuff like this, and until next time, bye.
Bangkok, Oriental sitting in the city, don't know what the city is getting. The creme de la creme of the chess world in a show with everything but Yul Brynner.